What images do you really need on your website? Now, as a brand photographer, I am asked this question a lot, and I thought I would break down the common images that I will create for a client for their website. Now, keep in mind, images captured during a brand photo shoot are great for social media. So you're getting both worlds. You can support your website and have a great online presence on your website, but then you can also cross-utilize these images on social media to engage your audience to then hopefully drive them to their website and gain more business. So at the end of this video, I'm actually going to showcase some of my clients and their websites so you can see the images that we're talking about and how they translate on to a website format, kind of what I'm thinking about for photo shoot day when someone comes to me saying they have a website project. All right, so let's jump into it. Many times, if a client is rebranding, let's say after 5 years, they may be bringing in a website designer, and many times I'm referred to from the website designer, so they come to me to start the process. Sometimes it's reversed. They're not using a website designer at all. They want to try to tackle it themselves, but they're sick of using all stocked canned images and it doesn't reflect who they are in their business. Because as you know, in today's marketplace, people want to know who is behind the business, who they are investing in. So it's always great to get that personal touch in your images, both on your website and in social media. All right, so let's dive into a website. First, you have your home page, and you will have sub-pages throughout your website. And one image that people always are keen on is those banner images on the top of the website. Whether it's when they land on the home page, and then if you have services or products or segments within your website and you need a banner image for each one. For example, I work with a business that they make custom furniture. They also have a home decor store, and they also make their own candles. So within one large website, they have a home page, but then they're going to have 3 different segments for those categories. So we'll have banner images. People are really keen on banner images, which I love. They can be full page. They could just be at the top. I am seeing a lot of businesses having more dynamic banner sliders, so they could be sliding through images, or I'm also creating little video clips for clients that will live in the banner section of a website. It's really short and it loops, but it just gives someone pause and they want to get a sense of who you are quickly. That's amazing as well. So moving down the page, many times you might have a photo of who owns the business. You may jump into images of what they make or create. And then it gets into process. How do you work with the business? And although people get the banner images and they know they need an updated portrait for their about page, it's the process that a lot of people are missing. These images will speak to kind of the qualities. Maybe you're working with specific materials or equipment or a specialty. You have a special niche, so you're working with certain materials. Maybe your process of how to get started is represented here. So you could have your discovery call process. Maybe you jump on, it could be you with a computer if you do a Zoom call. The visual representation of your process and how you work is often missing, and this is a category which I love to create, which is so great for social media too, is using those images to walk through and just have a visual pause for your process. So it could be maybe you sketch before you do the actual work, or you use a software program to lay everything out before you actually build. this is kind of those building blocks. You want to think of your customer's journey on how they begin working with you, the middle phase of working with you one-on-one or as a group, and then what the final phase of your process is. So if you can visually represent that, that is great. And then we get into products. So if you have merchandise, if you have an actual product line and you have a shop, you also need to be thinking about those images as well. You can have, I like to create two different types of product styles. You'll have the standalone still image of your product in a studio setting, clean background, but then you have your lifestyle product shots. So it shows the product in the environment that you are thinking your ideal client would use them in. All right, so we talked about the banner. These are going to be horizontal images. I am always on photo shoot day capturing horizontal images and some vertical images if there's a website project involved, versus someone just wants all social media and maybe they just want all vertical. I sometimes will still be capturing horizontal because I think those are still useful and they could use them on their website. The other key thing that I'm always thinking about is I love capturing images with negative space, and it's a strong image on its own, but on website, and I know website designers love this, this gives great space for that overlay of text. So I'm always keeping those things in mind. And if someone is using a website designer, I use it as a collaboration. If they're using someone, we will then collaborate. They will let me know if there's colors that we need to think about, if there's specific images that from their consultation, they know that they need to hit, and then giving me also a sneak preview of maybe a rough, design of the website that's not live yet. So then I can see how things are going to be laid out, whether there's a huge team and everyone needs portraits and they're all going to be circles on the website. Then we don't have to be so concerned about a huge backdrop because they're going to be cropped so tight, or other things in the background. The other thing that we could, by seeing that information, if there's going to be all squares used for the process or how to work with you, I'll always keep that in mind too, that maybe an overhead process shot would be great because they're using like a square format. People also use the banner style image or a horizontal image for when you're moving through the page and maybe there's a spot to have some like dynamic, it scrolls with you as you go down with the mouse, and you can have text overlay. Maybe it's a process shot, a detail shot. Those are all images that are great to use throughout the website, and not to just have these images live on the website, but to use them on social media as well. So let's jump into some examples of full websites so you can see some of the images that I've taken, how they play on a website. Hopefully this gives you some great information so when you're talking to a brand photographer, personal brand photographer, you can speak more to, these are the images I would love to have to create to support my website, and then you can also utilize these on social media. All right. So now that we've discussed all different types of imagery for a website project, I wanted to walk through real-world websites that I have personally worked on. These are my clients, so that we can see these images in action. The first one we're going to look at is this local calligrapher. Now you can see when you land on her page, she has her design being a large format image. And this was a flat lay that we created to kind of show all the things that she does in one shot. Obviously, all these images can be used on social to speak to what she does, but it works so nicely as a banner image on her website. So as we scroll down, you'll see you'll have some portrait images that she's using to meet and know more about her. And then it goes into, different testimonials. But here is another process shot that she's used in this banner type style, which kind of will move as you move through the website. So I wanted to highlight that. This is another great dynamic way to use these horizontal over the head process images, some that I love to create. So if I wanted to navigate a little bit more, I wanted to go to the About page. Now, many times people will just use that strong portrait on their About page, but Erin did a great job because she does so many things. One is custom signage, and here we had so much fun with this creative shot, and this is what she used in the banner, which I thought was really impactful. And then she goes into her story and her details. So we have a nice close-up detail, and then we have another portrait of her, and it's linking back to what she does because you have her working in her studio. Here is another one of those kind of moving with you slider shots at the end, and this was a great detail image of the frames or signage that you can rent with my client. Okay, so she has a lot of great examples. The portfolio is another area where here is detail shots of her work. That original image when we landed on her website, here are some great close-up details, and then it will break down all the different categories, and this can be a lot of different images from a brand session, or these are some of her actual work that she's done for clients to kind of drive that home. And then another image. I love these where they kind of like move with you, but it's just a great spot to put those process shots. All right, so moving along to a client that this is a furniture making store, plus they have a home decor store and they make candles. So they have a lot of content that needs to be created to support their website. So when you land on their website, they have this scrolling carousel of images. But if we go over to furniture, so he makes all custom furniture, again, you're going to see this large oversized image, which I always love. It's just really dynamic. Here's a process shot. And it starts talking about their story, what's for sale, all the images. But here are some more process. Here's an interior shot of the furniture store, because we talked about having interior, exterior shots if you have a brick and mortar store. So there's a carousel of images running through. And then we have some great details of his work and a strong portrait. So this whole page really brings a lot of the images, and it's showcasing their style, what they're offering, and you are very comfortable knowing exactly what you're going to get with this client, showing great detail work of past projects. And I'm just going to jump over to candles. So they have a whole candle making business, and we worked on their subscription box product. So we have a strong banner image with the subscription box, but then we go into the story and the candle maker. So they have her making the candles, and we had a great shoot of all the process of making the candles. You feel like you're there with her. Then it talks about all the different candles subscriptions you can buy, but this is where they used all these strong detail images, showing that there's a custom note that comes with the subscription box, a fun image of the box and their branding that they use for the subscription box. And as you scroll down, here's that same type of style banner shot we saw with the Cliverfur. This one just isn't moving as you scroll. Different websites and your designer can do different things. But I love that they have this shot of really bringing home that they're hand poured and the image is supporting that. All right, so then as we scroll down, let's see, there's more different key pieces to this subscription box that we want to drive home to the customer, and that they're crafted with care, so we have more process, what the actual packaging will look like when you receive it, so you know what you're sending your friend, a family member, and then just talking about the candles in general. We have some great strong images of the candles after they're cured. And there's the person behind making the candles. I love it. So lots of images on this page to really drive home what the candles and the subscription is all about. All right, so that's the candle subscription I want to touch on. Now we're going to jump over into an interior designer. So with this client, the banner, again, this was an image we created, process. You're going to see a portrait. You're going to see details. This is a carousel that will run through when you land on her page. Let's see if we see the next one. You can arrow down. Here's a detail shot. Here's a portrait shot. But I wanted to show you in the portfolio section, this is a video that we created. These are all little clips, and this is something that I offer my clients, is that these banner clips. And I packaged 4 or 5 together for her website. It could just be one single clip. But this really, when someone lands on this, they're gonna stop, they're gonna pause and see more about her, and then they can move forward in seeing all the spaces that she has created. So this is like a process shot we captured, and you get to know who the person is through the design, through their process, and the imagery that we created. So this is a nice gallery page for her portfolio. And on the About page, we have another image that she used during our experience as well. Again, all these can be used on social media, but you can see how they're playing different roles on the website to bring the whole story together. All right. The next website I wanted to show is an eye doctor's office, just to show the variety of different websites, how they function, different ways to utilize images. And this website had a great layout. These are the key things they want first-time patients coming on to know. First is that they moved to a new location. So having exterior shots of the space was really important because they moved to a new, totally different town. And this was a new building, and they wanted to make sure people knew where they were going so they can identify. Then we have interior shots, and this gives the sense of the space because this eye doctor location is stunning. So we want to get that across as well. And then all the state-of-the-art equipment that they have in this doctor's office was definitely needing highlighting. So we want to get those details. So they have a great little gallery that pops up. You see who's working there, the type of equipment, what the place looks like inside. It's really, really beautiful. I wanted to show you how they chose to highlight the team. So all the team members had individual portraits taken, and they created this whole page for all their team members. So this was a great way to showcase if you have a larger team that you're photographing for a brand shoot. This is a way you're always thinking, okay, how are these images going to be used? Do you need these for the website? Do you need them all to have the same background? These will open up a lot of questions that you can ask your client, so then you can support them the best that they can. And then the services, they didn't break down images for every service because there's so many different services. So I thought it was great how they utilized the gallery in the beginning so you know exactly what you need to see. All right. And then I wanted to showcase, this is an IV therapy and wellness lounge, and the banner was used to show all the exteriors, or sorry, the interiors of this new place. So this was brand new. It wasn't this was a whole new business, brand new. We want to make sure people know where they are. They're in the right place when they show up. So they did a great job just showcasing the interiors and what the exterior looks like from the outside, so that people get a sense of what the place looks like and they can go from there. They also had a portrait, and for their talking about their services, this was a process shot we captured at one of the locations. So then it kind of, again, you get a sense of what you're going to be walking into. All right. This last website, another totally different type of business. This is a micro tulip farmer, and we just had the best time. This is a shoot that I brought my drone out for, and we have a shoot coming up that'll be taking the drone out again. But this had some great uses of imagery. First, another large, oversized image in the front that kind of moves with you as you move through the website. This image of all the flowers, they just kind of did this block color in the middle just to kind of highlight, but this was a great image because it's all about all the variety of tulips. And then if we go to the services, they've used an image for all the different services. So this was kind of a fun process shot. This was a portrait that they used. This was an image of the tulips that she had grown. So she used images from the branding session for all the services as well. There should be some more popping up here. Okay. And then frequently asked questions. This was a great way to have like a strong portrait shot and just have some frequently asked questions outlined here. I thought that was nice. The About Me page, her strong portrait shot that we took in her home, and then her story behind the business. So we went through a lot of websites, but I wanted to give you a real world perspective on how we're utilizing all these different categories of images. So when someone reaches out to me, either if it's a referral from their website designer, or they're not using a website designer, or they're finding me independently, if they're coming to me and I'm hearing I need to redo my website, I'm thinking about all these other past websites that I've worked on, things I need to consider, like they obviously need some strong portraits of them because people want to know who is behind the business. We need some process images. We need what are their services and do they need their like imagery to support each one. And then there is product. So are they selling product like the subscription candle box product? Like, do we need to support that whole page for their website? Now, this can be one giant project. This could phase. They just need some core images now and then maybe working on a big product launch in the future. It's really all the way, it's all up to that client, but you can kind of walk them through and show them examples as well of how you utilize images as well. I'm always thinking too of the text overlay, like if we go back to the Clover, how they're using the text on top of the images. There's always some great negative space that you can use. These worked out really well. Okay, so if you loved this video, I thought I would show you the behind the scenes of working with the Clover and how we created all those images and the evolution of this is the photo shoot day, the images we captured, and now we're talking about how they live on the website. It's a great transformation, always fun to work on website projects, and I'll see you over there.